Title: The Whispering Wings. The small town of Blackberry Hollow lay nestled between two mountains, shrouded in mist and mystery. It had a seemingly peaceful vibe during the day, children playing in the streets, shops bustling with friendly chatter. But as the sun dipped behind the peaks, an unease crept through the town, as thick as the fog rolling in from the mountains. And with the night shadows came whispers about the creature that stalked the skies. The legend of the Mothman echoed through generations, its piercing red eyes and enormous wings making it a figure of both awe and fear. Many claimed to have seen it flitting between the trees. Others spoke of encounters that left them trembling in terror. But for 16-year-old Jamie, the Mothman was merely a story, a ghost tale told and retold by his friends to scare away the dark. One autumn night, as Halloween approached and the ground was covered with brittle leaves, Jamie gathered with his friends in their usual spot, the old abandoned brewery at the edge of town. A creaking sign swung above the weathered door, and the chill wind whispered secrets only the cobwebs would understand. "You think he's real?" asked Lucy, her eyes sparkling with mischief, while Robert snickered and leaned against a wall. "Nah," Jamie replied, brushing off the notion with a wave of his hand. "It's just an urban legend, a story to scare little kids." But as the clock struck 8, eeriness wrapped around them. The air seemed charged, and shadows took shapes that danced and twisted behind the old bricks. They lit a small lantern, the flicker casting disturbing shadows that leapt and shrunk against the walls. "Let's summon the Mothman," Lucy suggested, a smirk on her face. She drew a circle on the dusty floor with chalk, handing each of them a small candle. The flickering flame reflected in Jamie's eyes, and as they sat within the circle, the laughter faded, replaced with an eerie tension. "Just because we're doing this doesn't mean I believe it will work," Jamie said, but the tremor in his voice betrayed him. Lucy grinned. "Let's chant his name 3 times. Maybe he'll show up, just for fun." With a collective breath, they began, voices wavering slightly. "Mothman, Mothman, Mothman." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Silence wrapped around them like a suffocating blanket. Then, a gust of wind blew through the broken windows, extinguishing their flames and leaving them in darkness. Panic ensued as they scrambled to relight the candles, laughter mingling with nervousness. "Okay, maybe that was a bad idea," Jamie said, glancing at his friends. They were looking around, their faces pale against the dark. Suddenly, a strange noise echoed from outside, the sound of wings flapping, a rustle like dry leaves. Jamie's heart raced as the shadows shifted outside the brewery. He stood and peered through a crack in the old wood, and froze. There it was. It perched on the roof, tall and imposing, the Mothman, the creature of their darkest fears. Its wings spread wide, casting monstrous shadows against the moonlight, the blood-red eyes glaring down at him, unblinking. "It's real," he gasped, his voice trembling. The others stumbled forward, drawn to the window. Fear washed over them, their earlier bravado shattered. The creature stretched its wings, an awful beauty that promised both terror and intrigue. As if sensing their panic, the Mothman twisted its head, and its eyes locked onto Jamie's. A feeling of indescribable dread twisted in his stomach as the creature let out a low, haunting call that echoed deep within him. It resonated with a melody that seemed to call to his very essence. It wasn't just a creature to fear, it was something ancient and all-knowing. "Run!" Robert shouted, breaking the paralysis. They stumbled back from the window, but the Mothman launched from its perch, swooping down toward them. In an instant, the air was filled with the sound of wings beating, loud and threatening. The friends bolted toward the door, the ancient wood creaking as they slammed it behind them. They didn't stop running until they reached the main street, breathless and terrified. "What just happened?" Lucy gasped, wide-eyed. "I don't know," Jamie stammered, but all he could think about were its eyes. Those terrifying red eyes that burned into his soul. The chilling realization hit them. The Mothman was not just a tale to scare children. He was a harbinger of doom, a creature that warned of disasters yet to come. As the days passed, sightings of the creature intensified around Blackberry Hollow. And with each sighting, strange occurrences followed. A car accident here, a storm there, death seeming to lurk just out of sight. Jamie never forgot that night at the brewery, the echo of whispers lingering in his mind. The Mothman had come, and though he had laughed at the thought of legends before, it was now crystal clear. Some stories are rooted in truth, and the whispers of the wings would forever haunt him. And as the leaves fell and winter crept in, the townspeople began to whisper again about the ominous creature silently surveying them from the mountains, watching, waiting, bringing forth an unsettling certainty that the Mothman was more than just a warning. He was watching. Always.